What's going on, everybody? Check down, check in, episode 1. Sorry, we're a little delayed here. We're working on a little parlay. My name is Cody. To my left is Chris. Down below, we have Greg. Pat will not be joining us, but he may be in the comments, so keep a lookout for him. You guys want to introduce yourself? Say anything quick?
No, let's have a good week of football coming up here soon. Hopefully the hurricane veers off of Tampa.
Greg, you want to tell us where you're at?
Yeah, I'm currently in Indianapolis. I'm excited to go do the Chiefs-Colts game tomorrow. Right now it's beautiful weather. They're going to have the windows open in the stadium, and hopefully Chiefs come out of here get a W.
I'm hoping so. In my survivor pick, I'll stay undefeated. I guess first thing we can dive into is that very interesting ending of a Thursday night game. Chris, you got any topics you want to touch on that first quick?
What I like about what I thought was funny is the beginning of the Thursday night game. A lot of people thought it was going to be a boring slugfest, and the quarterbacks actually came out gunning for what they can consider gunning. There's a lot more offensive production in the beginning for what I thought either team would do. But overall, I've had to give Greg props. This probably talked about like over the summer and last year. Greg said that he thought that Cleveland would win more games, and maybe enough to keep them in the playoff hunt for Deshaun Watson. And Jacoby Brissett is showing he's that guy. So props to Greg on calling that one.
And that was even with a terrible Jets loss. Like they should not have lost that game to the New York.
Yeah, they
Jets.
should be
That
free.
was
They should
unbelievable.
They should be 3-0.
Yeah, realistically. Yeah, I was on that too. I said, hey, if they win like 6-7 games and then Deshaun Watson comes back and Deshaun Watson plays the way, that we've seen Deshaun Watson play. Granted, he hasn't took an NFL snap in almost 2 whole seasons, so we won't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. But I think if they win 6-7 games, they're right in the play for a playoff push.
Chemistry is going to be big with that as well, because he's coming into a team where, like I said, Jacoby Brissett has been, running the show, and he has to come in and start gelling with these receivers, these running backs, and that's no guarantee as well.
Yeah. I mean, only time's going to tell. Hopefully Watson plays as good as he did, from a football standpoint. And give Cleveland a little something to root for, because they haven't had much. Greg, is there anything you want to talk about Thursday night game?
Yeah, aside from that Pickens catch, that was pretty incredible to see him do that. They need to start giving him more targets and potentially a new quarterback change so he can actually be productive, because Mitch Trubisky right now, he's on pace for what, like 10 touchdowns or something this season. You got your eggs ready? Like, do they have to be hard boiled, or they have to be rotten, or just regular? Like,
I'm
you're gonna have to smash them on your head.
Wait, what's up?
You already forgot about how you had to smash an egg over your head? Throws less than 22 touchdowns.
That's gonna happen, so I'm convinced.
Yeah, it's not looking good. The Pickett train is going to be coming on very, very soon, especially after Trubisky's ho-hum performance last game. Like, it's only a matter of time. I'm thinking, even though Tomlin came out, he's like, I'm not worried about making the switch. I'm not doing it. Pittsburgh fans, once they lose another game, they're going to be very, very antsy, and I think that's when they're going to make the decision to give Pickett the reins.
Yeah, that catch was crazy. You even had Odell, like, giving him props and everything.
I don't blame them for benching him, though.
Benching Pickett?
Trubisky? Yeah, Trubisky sucks. That's why. You were like, oh, my God, he just needed a new opportunity.
We're still growing.
Once he gets on the Steelers, he's going to be a big – yeah, has he thrown
I don't
200 passing yards in any of his games? Like,
when Pittsburgh's line sucks, I don't know why you'd run your rookie quarterback out there to get hit. Even if you make the playoffs, you're not going to – unless he's going to light it up. So –
that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Like, go ahead.
Huh?
No, you were going to say something, but
no, I'm just saying, like, their O-line's horrible. So, like, you keep him healthy for a year. He might get hit up really hard. And then you're gonna have you might have an Andrew Luck situation where they fucking hate their life.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. They definitely have to improve that offensive line. I mean, Najee Harris can't even top 40 rushing yards. He's having difficulty doing that.
I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're like 500 by week 8 and Trubisky still sucks, or you're in a playoff hunt, like not a playoff hunt, or you're like 4-6, then you put him in. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, at that point, probably. I mean, you didn't waste it. I mean, I don't want to talk about wasting first-round picks on quarterbacks. But, you know, he was your first-round pick. I mean, you're going to have to play him eventually. Unless you're Green Bay and just have him sit as a backup for 3 years or 4 years or however long it's going to be. We don't have Pat. We don't have Pat live, but we got him in the chat. Saying we got no shirtless Pat, and he's also saying picket time there. So Pat, thanks for joining us, at least in the comment section. Only thing I want to say about the Steelers and Browns game is just kind of brag a little bit that on Wednesday I was the only one that took the over on the score. So you're welcome to anyone that listened to me on if they bet.
That was even before the garbage time touchdown at the very end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Before the garbage.
Screwed over a lot of people.
I know. Do you see that whole thing with FanDuel and everything, and they're refunding everyone money and shit?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just because people are salty, you still lost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah, that's sports. I don't know how. Are we just gonna? I think you just open up a whole bunch of things. If crazy shit's gonna keep happening, like you said, it's sports. Crazy shit's gonna happen. So are we just gonna refund people every time something crazy happens?
I mean, it's goodwill. Like, they do it enough where crazy things happen. They'll give you a free bet refund or something like that. It's just more attention, more revenue, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they refunded me for this, and you should definitely sign up for their. It's all marketing. They know what they're doing.
That's true. Good PR.
I don't know. As an investor in DraftKings stock, they haven't been doing the best. So I don't know if they know what they're doing.
They spend billions on advertising, pretty much. So
I've only gone up $2 a share in forever.
Yeah, that's the
I mean, I think that's anything right now. All right. Well, actually, I want to take a little second here because Chris, you weren't able to be here with us Wednesday, and your boy Tua had a hell of a game. So why don't you take the floor for a minute or two and talk your shit?
No, it's no shit. There's no shit talking. There's no shit talking till the job's done. And the Dolphins today, this upcoming weekend is the true test.
They can win. Micah Hyde just got ruled out for the rest of the season. This is an opportunity
might be
for
out
Tua.
Yeah. Both the starting safeties might be out. And
Boyer and Hyde are out.
They're going to be down 3 defensive starters at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabe Davis is still questionable.
Who would have thought pairing the most accurate quarterback in football with speedsters and Ferraris and just setting up the game properly would work? Who would have thought?
Hey, now Ferrari's Mahomes' nickname, not Tyreek Hill's. Relax. There.
Well, Mahomes' nickname is going to be Peyton Manning 2.0 here soon.
Do you guys know the league leader in completion percentage right now is Geno Smith?
Yeah, he's actually Geno's actually doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's actually not having a bad year at all. He's not lighting it up. He's not gonna be a star, but he's doing exactly what the Seahawks need. He's providing a little bit of offense. He won a game.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, he's not playing terribly right now, so I guess it's can't get on him too hard.
You think the Dolphins win this weekend?
If I had to put money on it, I wouldn't. But I think they definitely have a good shot.
That line has moved from, I think it started at 6 or 6.5 for the Bills. Now it's down to, I think 5 or 5.5. So the Bills just keep ruling out player after player after player. They're already down 5 or 6 guys on defense. So
if we're going to talk about that game quick, my fear is as someone who's watched both Bills games and both Dolphins games because they're divisional teams. Buffalo. Opportunity for, I believe Miami will be, is stopping Buffalo on 4th down. I don't think the statistic Buffalo goes for it so much on fourth down that if you can stop them on a fourth down and change field position a couple times, it could be a big momentum switch in the game. Another big thing is that Miami came back against Baltimore, but you can't have a couple stacking drives in a row. You know what I mean? Like you need to you need to do what they used to do for Tom Brady a little bit, run the ball, keep them off the field. You know what I mean? Buffalo's run defense was horrible last year. It did look like it's improved a little bit this year, but I would try to run the ball of Edmonds and them.
I think that's going to be big for both teams. I think whatever team could establish a good run game and then, control the time of possession, I think that would give whoever the edge in this game.
But Buffalo looks like a team on a fucking mission.
Yeah,
I will personally be cheering hard for Miami because that would significantly help out the Chiefs for that potential number 1 seed. So I'm pulling hard for the Dolphins.
Well, maybe both teams will be 2-1 this week after the Colts win.
Yeah, everyone's saying trap game. I mean, it is the Colts home opener, so that crowd should be bumping. But
it's probably the biggest trap game this week, I would say.
I think it's going to be close. I like the Colts to cover, actually, but I got the Chiefs winning.
I think the Chiefs win too. I think the Colts are a mess. I think that we're holding on to this team that we think is going to happen on paper, but in reality, it's not coming to fruition yet. So.
And then they just ruled out Shaq Leonard yesterday, so he's the heart and soul of that Colts defense. So I mean, Colts have a really good run defense, but like I said, they sit a lot in cover 3, and that's where the Chiefs players thrive. Like Kelsey, that's where he has some of his biggest games. So we'll see.
Oh, poor Pat. Left tackle Leland's out for the year now.
Lewan.
Yeah,
Lewan.
Lions are a mess.
But let's move on to let's talk about what we're going to do our little part of our show. We were looking at putting together, some popular parlay tickets. If anyone wants to do that with us, or anyone in the comments wants to give us some ideas of over-unders that they like. Cody and I were going through a couple of the games. We actually are liking DraftKings a little more now than Barstool. Dave Portnoy is probably going to block me from everything now. But some of the early ones that we like, let's start with number 1. DeAndre Swift over 46.5 rushing yards. Greg, what's your take?
I mean, DeAndre Swift has been a monster so far in the first 2 weeks, and there's no signs of slowing down. He was on the injury report last week. They said he was going to have limited usage or selective roles, and he still managed to just absolutely obliterate the defense. So I really like the over in that. His matchup, Minnesota has a pretty decent front 7, but he's going to get the opportunities where he should, I think, easily surpass that. Probably finish with 70 to 80 rushing yards, I would think.
Cody?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's rush defense has just been getting torn up. Green Bay did it week 1. I mean, scoreboard wouldn't reflect it, but A.J. Dillon, I think, had 80, 90 rushing yards, and Aaron Jones was averaging almost 10 yards a carry there. And DeAndre Swift would have covered that last week on, I think he had 5 or 6 carries. I think that Detroit offense is just playing phenomenal. I don't even hesitate on taking the over on that one.
All right. How about we go to Greg? Greg, you had some really good insight about a Kelsey play.
Yeah, his over-under is set at 71.5. Kelsey's had so many 100-yard receiving games. The Colts typically like to sit back in that cover 3, and Kelsey loves to eat up those zones. He likes to find those soft spots and then just make move and turn upfield. I really like for him to have a bounce back game. He struggled in the last game against the Chargers, but he always struggles against the Chargers because they have, one of the best safeties in football, typically covering a man, which is, Derwin James. And I expect for Kelsey to have a really big bounce back game. I think he could finish, easily over 100 yards in this game if the offense is clicking.
No, I like that. Especially that's the stuff fans coming together from different teams and knowing their team's better is a big play in this, so. Because, you're going to follow your inside sources and so
Yeah, you typically listen to your team's podcast, and they have a lot of insight
Exactly.
as well, and you just know the statistics more so than others.
Yeah, I mean, another one was I think Cody liked a first 2 safe plays involving 2 quarterbacks. Cody, you want to go into those?
The first one was Joe Burrow over touchdown and a half. I know he didn't get it last week, but he's playing a little bit softer of a defense this week. And, I'm expecting a bounce back game. I think 2 touchdowns is easily attainable. And then the other one was a Matt Ryan. His over-under on interceptions is a half an interception, so he just has to throw 1. I think he has 3 on the year, so he's averaging over 1 interception a game so far. I think the Colts are going to have to throw the ball a lot. So, more pass attempts, higher chance for an interception. I think the Chiefs, if I'm correct, have had an interception both games this year. So I feel like those are 2 pretty good locks.
Building off that, I love the Joe Burrow, but like for the Matt Ryan, the Chiefs like to run a lot of man coverage, and they're generating a lot of pressure with the front 4. I think this is Mike Dan is out for the Chiefs, but that's not too big of a deal because, the guy we drafted in the first round, George Karlaftis, Purdue University, he's going to – what's up?
I was joking. You disappeared on us. I said, bye, Greg.
Oh, I did? All right, I'm
Yeah, you
back
keep
now.
coming in and out.
Sorry. So what did you guys hear from me so far on my take?
Well, I think the last we heard was like pressure.
Rural Kyle office.
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, George Karlaftis, Purdue University alumni. He's going to have a lot of friends and family at the game. He's going to have a lot more opportunities. So he's going to come out there with a higher motor than usual. But yeah, Chiefs play very well, man. They should be able to generate a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan. And then there's going to be a couple throws where Matt Ryan's just going to throw up some ducks. Matt Ryan is not Justin Herbert. Like, he's not going to be able to zip the ball into, perfect coverage and still complete passes. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. And I feel like he's going to make a mistake at some point. Plus, the Chiefs offense or defensive line rather likes getting their hands up. You could see a few tip passes from Chris Jones and Frank Clark. So I really like that over a half interception because I think Matt Ryan will make a mistake. Colts are going to be playing from behind probably the majority of the game, and that's where the opportunity will arise.
Yeah, good thing you bring up Herbert. Thing to keep in mind, he's questionable. There's a good chance he doesn't play this week. So as far as fantasy-wise goes, Keenan Allen's probably not going to play there, but you probably want to take him out of your lineup, and you probably want to have less of an expectations for guys like Mike Williams and Gerald Everett.
That line moved from 7 points all the way down to 3, and then as soon as they announced Herbert is going to be out, that line's probably going to move to like 2.5.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, like some guy I saw somebody ask if Herbert's out, if he should play Mike Williams or if he should play Christian Kirk, and I was like, you got to go Kirk. Like, that's not even a question for me because Mike Williams, he can just as easy score 4 fantasy points as he could 20.
Well, even on like DraftKings, a lot of the props for the Charger players, besides like the total like touchdown scorer ones, have come down. Are not even available for play really right now.
Yeah, we had Stephen Joe in the comments. What up, Joe? What up, Stephen? Mr. Joe.
So like one that would be interesting for me is like they have Eckler at 52 yards over under rushing.
Chase Daniels plays. They're just going to have to run the ball a lot.
That's what I imagine.
More.
That's probably when you want to hammer the over, but don't be upset if he does get the under.
I like the over on that.
Hey, I'm all about trading. I'm all about trading CMC. He's a bust. No one should have taken him in dynasty or any type of fantasy.
Yeah, I like it. The Panthers offense, I don't know. I think they forgot that they have McCaffrey. He did top 100 yards, but he's not getting the catches. St. Brown's just on a tear like no one else, and the Broncos will figure it out. So, Williams is getting targets too. So,
dude, CMC is not even going to make the season. He's already got ankle pain. He's saying it's fake. He's saying it's fake news.
2 weeks, he's averaged like full point PPR. I think he's averaged like 17 points and like 14 or 15 points.
Okay.
2 weeks. Like,
that's
I'm not
cute.
too worried.
As far as that trade goes, Amon-Ra alone is outscoring McCaffrey, and then you get Javonte Williams on top.
Yeah.
So, I like it. I think that's a great trade, Steven.
McCaffrey will be a bust by the end of the year for where people.
Oh wait, that was a trade offer. What was the trade
It was
offer?
a trade he did. It was he traded away McCaffrey, got St. Brown. I'm assuming Amon-Ra, and Javonte Williams.
Yeah, great.
Sell high. That's
a great trade.
I agree. I like that a lot.
Another one that I like for a parlay pick is it's technically a little risk. I like there's two, but I like Breece Hall over 13.5 receiving yards or over. I really like them. The one I like more is over 1.5. They have him on DraftKings at over 1.5 receiving catches. So last week he only had one catch out of the backfield, but week 1 he had 7. So, but how the Jets are kind of every week, he upped his rushing total last week. So I think they're integrating him more and more. Michael Carter. I feel like
have the snap count. Like, what he had from like week 1 to week 2.
That's a pretty significant fall off, though.
I'm not sure about the snaps, but he had 1 reception last week and 7 rushing attempts. Then he had 6 rushing attempts week 1, and he had 9. He had 9 targets week 1. He had only 1 target week 2. So, but I feel like that, I would rather take. It's hard. You can go either way. I feel like, catching 2 at the backfield isn't that hard of a play to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I put in a parlay. I forget if it was week 1 or 2. I had DeAndre Swift. It was 2.5, and I thought I was hammering the over on that one. I thought it was a lock, but he only caught 2 passes. Or was it 3.5 and he caught 3? He missed it by a catch, and I thought it was a lock.
You want to know how times are changing? Is the Tom Brady's not on our team anymore, but the Buccaneers versus Packers game, they have Rodgers at 232 yards and Brady at 240. Those numbers are similar to fucking Matt Ryan.
Well, Brady's missing his whole receiving core.
So they have
Rodgers doesn't have one.
Cousins and Derek Carr had higher over-unders than both those guys.
And they had their touchdowns at only one. They had their passing touchdowns at 1.5 for both of them.
I mean, the Bucs have the best defense in the league, and Green Bay's got a top 10 defense as well. So, I mean, I understand it, but I mean, just hearing the name, you want to hit the over on both of those. But
no, I know that's what I'm saying. It's going to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. Just by name alone, you want to hit the over and history between the two teams, but not two teams, the 2 quarterbacks when they've played each other.
They got Aaron Jones at over 28.5 receiving yards.
I like that. Actually, no.
That's
really
close.
quick
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel either with the linebacking core.
That's when he probably finishes right around there. I can see him finishing 25 to 32 receiving yards or something.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting to throw out there. So,
yeah, I mean, it's coming to an era with these quarterbacks that we all grew up watching. Brady maybe finished. Well, he'll finish this year. Who knows if he comes back? And probably got Rodgers for maybe another 2, 3, maybe.
Here's a good bet. If Tom Brady decides not to retire, him and Giselle are getting divorced. That's pretty much that's gonna happen. Brady decides he wants to come back, their marriage is ending, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, as a huge Tom Brady fan and Patriots fan, when he won with the Bucs, it him winning with the Bucs was the greatest thing ever because it proved people to shut the fuck up, and it was everything that we used to say in New England, that he's not a system quarterback and he is the GOAT. Everyone now magically was like, he's the GOAT. He's amazing. But the fact that he did win, I wish he walked out like Peyton Manning when he won that 7th.
I think it was too tempting with the division, how weak it was. You had the Panthers depleted, Falcons depleted. Saints are riding on the Jameis Winston train, and it's he looked at it as another opportunity. He's guaranteed playoff berth. Guaranteed home field game.
Well,
potentially with how weak the NFC is, home field advantage. I just got to make it to the Super Bowl. I get another appearance, and then anything can happen. But
I personally still think that last year, that I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl last year, but which I was right. If the Bucks wide receiving core was not so banged up, just like again this year, like I still think that they would have beat I think they would have beat the Rams, and I think they would have won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, essentially, that's why I think Brady saw it as an opportunity this year.
I mean, and like this year, I think Greg, I think you're right.
Oh, go ahead.
This year, I think you're right, because I think if that receiving core stays healthy, there's no one in the NFC, I think, that even comes close to being able to compete with that defense and those offensive weapons.
The
NFC is showing me like the Vikings to me the Eagles. The Eagles look really good. Cody, you want to say something?
Go Birds.
No, I was just saying another thing that was probably tempting for Brady to come back is, they won the Super Bowl and they were able to, they brought back Godwin, re-signed him. They re-signed Fournette. A lot of these guys that were like, oh, Godwin's going to the Jets and Fournette's leaving, but they were able to bring back everyone. They brought back a lot of defensive studs too.
I have to give it to my one friend. He bought a Godwin jersey down here, and I gave him so much shit because I thought Godwin was going for the money, and that guy, he stuck around.
Yeah, good for him.
So, but yeah, what do you guys think? Like, do you think the Eagles are legit?
I mean, they've looked legit through 2 weeks.
It's still early though. It really is.
I'm thinking, Izzy, your nice guess on that the winner of that division looks good. Philly winning that division.
Yeah, I mean, Giants are 2-0 right now, but they're going to eventually fade. Commanders still have Wentz. They're not going to be relevant. Cowboys are not going to be relevant without Prescott. So they pretty much get a guaranteed, home field advantage. Not home field advantage, but a guaranteed home game in the playoffs. And Hurts has been playing at a high level. They have one of the best, I think the Eagles actually have the best offensive line in football because, they haven't had any injuries. Still got Kelsey anchoring in that center, and they got big tackles. But, they have a good running attack. They have now A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard is their tight end. Defensively, their secondary is significantly improved. So I think they're definitely going to be in the mix or the conversation to come out of the NFC, along with, the Bucks and the Rams, potentially the Packers.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great thing.
I think the better question to ask is, are the Detroit Lions legit? Because
find out after this weekend. I bet on them. So
yeah.
I think that the Lions are on the stage of becoming a great team. I think that they're gonna finish the year around 7-9. So
I mean, I'd have to look at their schedule, but
they play 17 games,
7-10. 7-10. Sorry.
Thank
you, Roger Goodell.
I could see like a 9-8 for the Lions.
I would say, like I said, I'd have to look at their schedule. But I mean, they're gonna fit. I see at least 500.
2 wins against the Bears. There's another 2 wins. So
yeah, I mean, don't put Chicago down, bro.
Nah, I'm putting Chicago down.
They fucked me week 1.
Chicago looks. I mean, they won week 1, but they do not look good.
Well, I mean, anyone can win against Trey Lance. That will go down as the worst trade of all time. Trey Lance will be a bigger bust. I'm saying it right now. Trey Lance will be a bigger bust overall than Jamarcus Russell.
That's impossible. Like Jamarcus Russell.
It's not just over. It's not because here's the thing: the Raiders just took Jamarcus Russell. The Niners traded away a cajillion picks and got Jamarcus Russell. That's worse than just taking Jamarcus Russell.
That's a good point.
Like you like Jamarcus Russell was a pick. You didn't give anything up to get Jamarcus Russell. Like the
Russell
Niners,
was the number 1 overall pick or the number 2 overall pick?
Russell was the number 1, huh?
Yeah,
Russell was 1, yeah.
But Trey Lance, number 3 overall, and how many? Like you traded what? 3 first-round picks?
I don't remember what the deal was.
I think it was they traded 1.
Not looking good. You know how I know Jimmy G is a better quarterback than Trey Lance is when Trey Lance gets injured and Vegas gives the Niners a better betting odds to win the Super Bowl.
What's up?
When Trey Lance got hurt and Jimmy G was named starter the rest of the year, Vegas made it better odds of the Niners to win the Super Bowl.
Did you see how much that team celebrated when Jimmy G was back in?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Like,
I mean, I know, Chris, you and I have been saying it. Jimmy G, I don't know. He's the better quarterback. I know teams they get all excited. They see the shiny new toy, like, oh, look at this guy. Like, but all Trey Lance was getting drafted was all potential. Did anyone actually think he was going to be that good in the NFL?
Yeah, it's all potential, just like everybody else. Trey Lance, like I thought he had the tools to, be a good quarterback. The arm strength, mobile ability. I don't know, decent poise in the pocket, but it's tough to make it in the NFL. There, you see a lot of quarterbacks that come out and they look amazing on paper, and then they just can't put it together, and missing one or two things or injuries, and that just sidelines their career.
I mean, I just think that I think it was a panic move. I mean, I really do. I feel like for what they traded, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They traded three first-round picks and a third to Miami to get him.
Give up a lot.
I mean, you're probably better off just keeping Jimmy G. Don't do that trade and just back up on your secondary that was very bad last year, and draft a running back that doesn't get hurt every other game.
Well, just to think about it, you traded three first-round picks for Trey Lance, which might mean it's a contract-friendly young quarterback, but you took three first-round picks for a project, while the Browns gave up three first-round picks for Watson. So, who's a proven superstar, but who knows anymore? Let's go massage parlors later.
I got to get rolling. I got to go to
All right, I'll see you.
So,
all right, Greg.
Well, actually, I think this works for me to round up the week. I think I got to pick a survivor team.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Pat picked for you, but we can change it since the game.
You can't pick for me. I didn't give him a team to pick
for you.
Pat said you picked the Jets.
I did not pick the Jets. He lied.
Well, Pat's a liar. Who's your survivor pick this week? I picked the Chiefs. Pat has the Eagles, and Greg has the Bengals. So you can't pick any of those three teams.
Who?
You should go with the Jets.
Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals are off the board.
Decisions.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Better hope Herbie doesn't play.
All right.
I'll be rooting for the Jacks too.
All right. So quick update. So again, Chris and I 2-0. Well, Greg, you get going. We won't hold you on any longer.
All right. Sounds good. Catch you later, guys.
Have fun tonight, big guy.
Yep.
All right. Just a quick update with that. Chris, you and I are 2-0. We got Greg behind us at 1-1, and Pat's 0-1. Pat's trying to make the point that in Survivor, if it's a tie, you get the W, but we're not doing that.
Oh, you don't get a W. Your tie, it's a loss.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's really it this show.
You didn't call a tie. It's a loss.
I mean, if you called a tie, we could have gave him the W, but
yeah, exactly. But it's not. You called a win, so it's a loss. In Vegas, it's win, loss, and draw. He didn't pick draw, so he loses.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that, I guess we can wrap it up. This is the first edition of our check down, check in. Just a quick little, we went a little over time, quick little half-hour-ish show on either Friday or Saturday. We'll be streaming on our channel, the Check Down channel. We're also streaming as part of the Get Right Fantasy Network. Big shout out to those guys giving us the platform.
Sounds
good. Just want to get more content out of you guys. We're probably going to be doing these going forward. Days and times going to be pending. It's going to be Friday, Saturday. The times probably aren't going to be set for a while until we figure out a set schedule. But again, thanks to the guys who came on. Chris, thanks for joining me today. And
no problem.
We look forward to Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll let you guys know. Peace out, everyone.